Ask most people if they've ever heard of a country called Bhutan and you'll probably get a blank look. That's because Bhutan is a tiny kingdom tucked high in the Himalayan mountains, and it's not easy getting entry. They only let in a few thousand visitors a year, and receiving permission requires forms, visas, photos, licences and endless paperwork. Good thing they actually make paper in Bhutan. We received a letter saying the rivers in this mountain kingdom actually contain trout. Well, we didn't care how much paperwork was involved, we just had to find a way into Bhutan.
Calcutta. Just the name says it all. It's an improbable city, overpopulated and bursting at the seams. The tide of people seems to be going with you and against you at the same time. Yet some preconceptions don't hold up. For all its hustle and bustle and incessant hum, it doesn't give you the impression of being highly strung. Maybe it's the heat. Sitting on the Ganges at the top of the Bay of Bengal, it is generally either hot or wet. But now in the brooding weeks leading up to the monsoon, there is extreme humidity. So it's hot and you're wet.
Calcutta experienced its original growth when it was under British control, but it turned out that once started, Calcutta's growth was somewhat out of control, and it's shown little sign of abating. We're here to catch a train that will take us all the way up to India's northern border and, hopefully, into Bhutan. But as our train didn't leave until tomorrow, it was a chance to take a wander.
There's an excitement to walking the streets of Calcutta, and a strangeness.
I guess if ever a tourism board had its work cut out for it, it'd be Calcutta's. As a holiday destination, it probably rates up there, just a little below Chernobyl. And throughout history, the place hasn't had a lot of good press, certainly British history. Rudyard Kipling called it that city of dreadful night. My favourite quote comes from Winston Churchill, who wrote to his mother, "I'll always be glad to have seen Calcutta, for the reason that I won't have to see it again." But you know what? It's a really groovy little town. Huge town, in fact. Massive. The people are, well, I know it sounds a cliche, but the people are really friendly and are really proud of their city, and there's so much life. There's something happening on just about every street corner. I like it.
Well, we're finally officially in Bhutan. Woohoo! That was actually a bit of an ordeal. We stayed overnight in the midst of all that. It actually feels great to be here. I don't know whether it's my mind playing tricks, but it already feels friendlier, if that's possible. And it's nice to think that after 3 or 4 days of heat, we're going to get to somewhere cool, because we're starting to fade just a little. But now comes the interesting part, the trip up into the mountains. And we've been told it's going to take the entire day to get up there.
It must have seemed impossible that beyond those wild mountain forests could exist a gentle, bucolic valley like Parro with its fairy tale buildings. Even standing there was something slightly unreal about it all.
Like a couple of old English explorers, we started fly fishing up the valley. This part of Bhutan can be quite dry in the middle of the year, but the river was glorious. And yet, at the back of our minds was the thought, we've come a long way to find out the talk of brown trout was just a myth. And then bang, there were fish in the river. In fact, as it turned out, the river was full of them, and that tends to keep the size down. They were all beautifully coloured brown trout.
Kids would wander down to try and make sense of what we were doing. You see, this is an emerger nymph. There were monuments everywhere. This prayer wheel was driven by a spring flow. We made our way up the beautiful Parro Valley, along the ancient paths past small villages where the transport is still by horse or foot. If you keep going up this path for a couple of days, you hit the high Himalayas, and just beyond that, Tibet.
And everywhere, there would be kids. I'm not even sure they knew what these strange Troutanian weapons did, but that didn't stop them getting the hang of it. Actually, one kid ended up casting better than me. He was banned from further participation. It was actually more fun than the fishing, and if there is a better smile in the world than that worn by Bhutanese children, I'll go he.
Time for dinner. We'd been promised traditional Bhutanese fish soup, washed down with arra, a local spirit made from maize that tastes alarmingly like methylated spirits. Our chef's name was Buddha, and his recipe basically called for cutting the trout into fairly large chunks. Then slicing some onion, a bit of fresh tomato, and some ginger. You have to dice that fairly finely. Along with a little chilli to go with it all. Rice is the main staple of Bhutanese cuisine, but chilli comes a pretty close second. You throw all the vegetables into the wok and allow them to simmer. Then add the ginger and the garlic. Then toss in the fish, heads and all. A dash of salt. And a little dried chilli this time. Expand the sauce with a cup of water, and then a few slices of butter. And there you have it, Bhutanese chilli fish.
The methylated spirits grows on you after a while. Cutlery's not a big feature up this way, but good food and conversation tend to be pretty universal, even if our grasp of Bhutanese is fairly limited. It's a tough language. Kuzu Zangpola, 5 syllables just to say hello. Fortunately, they spoke a bit of English. In fact, they told us about a river up north near the border of Tibet. Now, there's no roads up there, so you'd have to walk about 4 days to get in, but apparently the river also holds trout. Big brown trout. But then again, there's always a river, somewhere.
You asked, we listened.
Right, here's the plan.
Members get exclusive access to classic rare and never-before-seen video and audio from way back when we were starting out.
What did that guy at Consumer Affairs call it?
A scam.
It's a scam.
Friends of the show get early access to our regular YouTube content, as well as Have You Been Paying Attention content that's never been seen on TV or social media.
Good on you, Tom.
Love The Late Show?
Where every week is Piss Week.
We've got classic clips from the TV show for members of our Champagne Comedy tier.
Make sure you tell all your friends back in the big smoke.
Are you a die-hard D-Generation fan? Relive some of the earliest radio moments with exclusive access to the Radio Vault.
And remember, don't leave your radio on when you're not home.
Or if you simply want an easy one-stop shop to watch our TV shows,
this is going straight to the pool room.
Pool Room members can enjoy full episodes of Utopia, All Aussie Adventures, Frontline, Funky Squad and heaps more. Why not join today and become part of the community that asks for nothing more than
Champagne sketch comedy.